Hey there, React Native developers. Today we are going to build this Instagram animations where when we do the on long press on the message and we get the blur view and also animated reactions on the message. So I'm really excited about this and let's build this in the React Native today. So I have already designed the components for the screen and also I have added the packages which we need for this project. So first package which I added is React Native Community Blur. So with this package we are going to blur the background, and with React Native Fast Image I'm going to render the images with Fast Image because it saves the cached version of the image and we don't have to load it again when we are opening in another view. And React Native Portalize will be used where we have to render the data on the root screen, like which you can see later when I'm going to use it, and React Native Reanimated for animating the messages. So these are the packages which I'm using, and in the app.js there is nothing fancy. I have a message screen. In this message screen I have a header with flat list, and in the flat list I have the message component. In this message component I'm rendering the avatar image if it is not a center, like if you can see it here, and I have already typed text defined in the message data which you can see here, and based on this I'm rendering the messages. So that's all for this project which we need, and now we can start working on the animation. So there will be two things which we are going to do in this project. First, when we are clicking on this or when we are doing on long press on these messages, then we want to get the exact location from from this top to and this x value, from this y-axis and from this x-axis, and when we get that then we can render it exactly where the message was selected or where the message was pressed. So let's start building this. In the message screen, in message I will wrap it with touchable opacity, because when we do touch on this event or do anything like touchable on long press or on press in, so we get the event in which we get the page y and page x, location y, location x, which will be used to get the exact location where we touched. So let's do that. Touchable opacity, and I'm going to use on long press, and I will pass on long press from the props, and in the message screen I will define the on long press message. On long press we get the event when we touch it, so I will show you what we get when we do the on long press. So e.native event, and on long press we will pass on long press, and if you do this you can see we are getting location y, location x, page y, and we are going to use this. So I will make a state message coordinates set message coordinates. It will be used it, and initially it will be x0 and y always 0. Okay, it's not 0, it was 4. Yeah, and now I'm going to set these coordinates. So set message coordinates x. For the x I want it always the same, so it will be 0 as we are not using x in this. So 0, and y will be page y minus location x. So const page y location y is equal to e dot native event. It is not capital, it's small. And when we do this we can get the coordinates. So if I click on this, you can see I'm getting these coordinates. So now let's create a component named portal view, and we will going to use that to render our portal. So portal view.js. So if we render portal view here, there will be nothing fancy. It will be just down in the bottom of the screen, because we have not wrapped it with portal view. So to wrap it with portal view, we need to wrap our app with the host components from Portalize. So host from Portalize, and we will wrap it. So if we do this, and let's wrap this with portal view, with portal, then you can see like the text which was rendered at the bottom of the screen, now it is goes to top, because now it is getting x and y axis to 0, and we can render it anywhere on the top of this. So now let's render the message. So we will get message on long press. Not on long press, we will get on press in. So we know, like, we already have the message. But I think on long press will be the best idea. So let's do with the on long press, because we need it further when we are doing some conditions in the portal view. That's why I'm preferring on long press instead of on press in. So E, and then I will pass the props as message. And in message screen, now I'm getting event and message, and I will store it in a state const selected message, set selected message null, and set selected message to message, and I will pass this inside the portal view. I also pass the message coordinates inside this portal view, so we can use that. So now we are passing two props to this portal view, and I'm going to use this now. So selected message and message coordinates. Can you check if it is correct? Select message, message coordinates. Yeah. And let's make a view. First I will make a normal view, then we can convert it to React Native anytime. Now style will be position absolute top message coordinates dot y. And if I do this, then you can see our portal view text is rendering exactly where we are clicking on it. So if I click here, it is rendered here. If I click here, it is rendered here. But as you can see, we are subtracting location y from page y, so it should get exactly at this location, not at this location. So to do this, I think we need to disable the pointer events for this container, because we are getting these pointer events, and we need the portal events for this touchable opacity, like touch events for this touchable opacity. So let's disable that. Pointer events none, and for the text message, again pointer events will be none. And if we do this, you can see now we are getting at the exact at the location. So now let's render them. In the portal view, we will check selected message dot type is equal to text, then it will be a text message, and we will pass selected message, else it will be an image message. Now if we do this, you can see exactly we are getting the messages which we are selecting, like, hey, at the same position which they are rendered. Even if we scroll them, you can see they are sticking at that location, because we are using portal view. So if I click on this, I will get the image at the same location. So now, as we are able to see the background view, so we need to add a blur view to this. So let's add that blur view. Let's define the style const style container flex1, and let's import the style set. So style will be container and blur amount. Initially we will set it 50. So let's see what we get. And now message style Let's reload it. Blur view. Can't read property image URL. Okay, because if selected message is not there, then we need to return the null, because then we will get the error. So select the message, then return null. If we do this, now we are good. And you can see our background is blurred now and our image is visible. But when I'm clicking somewhere else, I'm not getting to back to that screen. So to doing that, let's create a touchable opacity, because when we touch anywhere, then we want to go to back to that place. So in touchable opacity, same style will be styles.container, and on press I will pass this set selected message into this portal view, so we can set it to null. Null. If I do this, then it is working fine, but when I'm clicking, I'm still getting the opacity. So I will set active opacity to 1. And I'm doing this. Now this is working exactly what we want. So now let's beautify this. Let's add some animation to this transition, and now we will be good with that. So first, let's make the opacity of this touchable opacity to 0.9, so it doesn't make opacity to 0.6 or something else. So in the message, active opacity, it will be 0.9. And if we do this, this looks great. Now we are having issue, like when we are clicking on the sender message, we are still rendering it here. So first, let's animate the message and then we will fix that issue. So in the portal view, I will create an animated style. Animated style. Use animated style. Return transform. We will translate X. So if selected message, it will be with timing. Selected message, then it will be 0, else it will be 30. I'm doing it 30 when we are not selected the message, because like in the left side, this is 30 pixels margin and we want to go from 30 to 0. So that's why I'm setting it to 30, and duration will be 300. Like that is default duration when we set animated timing. And let's make this view animated. Animated style. And if we do this, then you can see the messages are properly animating, but we also know that we want to render this at the right side, not at the left side. So for doing this, before we are doing this animation, we need to know whether it is a sender message or it is a receiving message. So for doing that, we will add a event on press in. So on press in, we will send a sender in the prop. On press in, and in the message screen, const is sender set sender. Use set false on press in set sender, and we will pass this into portal view. And now let's check this. So if it is a sender, we always wanted 0, not 30. And the second thing is left. If it is a sender, not left actually, I will set it right. Sender, it will be 0, else it will be undefined. So now let's try this. This is working fine, and this is also working fine, because if you see in the Instagram, when we are clicking on our message, they are not animating because there is no avatar view for the sender. So they will stick to that place only, and when we are clicking on someone else's message, then they will be animated to this screen. So I will also make this to 200. Yeah, now this looks good. Now also we need to animate the blur amount. So let's set that const blur amount set, okay, not blue, set blur amount. So initially it will be 0, and we will use set interval to raise this blur amount, because we can't use animated value inside the blur view. So use effect, we will animate it with its sender. If its sender not with its sender, we will animate with selected message. So if selected message const interval is equal to set interval timing, let's say 200, not 200, I want it in 30 milliseconds only. Set blur amount previous, if previous is smaller than 60, then I will return previous plus 10, else I will clear the interval and return previous. And now let's use the blur amount here. So if you see this, now we are animating the blur amount exactly, but we also need to set it to 0 when we are not rendering anything. So next time we get the same animation. So now as you can see, we are getting the blur amount exactly we want, and it is animating. So now let's create the view for the reaction. So it will be view style styles.reaction. Let's make a reaction. Position absolute. Background color is going to be white. Padding is going to be 16. Border radius to 50. And let's see what we get when we do this. So as you can see, we are getting the circular, but we are not circular view, but it is on the top, so we will also need to animate it with top. So styles top message coordinates dot y, and it will be an object. If we do this, we are getting the exact location, but we want it somewhere on the top, so it will be 30. It will be fine. Yeah, 30 is fine. So now let's add some emojis to this view. Text, we already have text, and I will import the emojis. Yeah, so now our hearts are visible. Let's make the direction to row, and we also need to set it to 50. I'm now copying the exact emojis, so it will be this one. So now our emojis are properly visible. Let me add gap of 8 pixels inside this. Yeah. So now let's create an animated text style for this. Const text style, use animated style, return. Font size will be 40, and let's render this. Animated.text. Style will be text style. Let me copy everything from other code so it will be faster. Yes, so now our emojis are visible, but I think 40 is a little bit large, so 35 looks good. And from the bottom it went 70, and it will be always center. Yeah, so now the center. Let's see what we are getting. Now we are not animating these emojis, so let's do that. I will add the scaling to this. I will create a animated value const scale is equal to use saved value 0. Initially it will be 0, and when we are deselecting the message, we also want it to be 0. But when we have selected message, so scale dot value with timing, not with timing, I want it with spring to 1, and let's use this scale value. Transform scale dot value. So if we do this, you can see we are nicely animating our emojis, but we also want that emojis come from the downside, not from the center. So also animate the translate y. So translate y is equal to interpolate scale dot value 0 to 1, and at 0 we want them to be 50, and now 0. If we do this, we can see now our animations are working fine, and we are also animating the reactions. Yes, this looks fine. So this looks good, but I want to give you an extra or bonus content in this video. So like if we go there, we scroll it at this position, and when we are doing on long press on this, then you can see our image is not properly shown, and also the reactions are not visible. So when we do this, you can see like we have the screen issues. To fix this, so let's do this. So on layout, we get the exact layout of the exact height and width of the message item, and then we can pass it and subtract or add that value to the page y or page x, and then we will get the exact location. So let's do that. Const layout height, set layout height, and const on layout E. So if I do this, then I think I will get the exact height of this view on layout height. Yeah, you can see we are getting the exact height of these views, 258, 466, whatever the height we have. And we need to pass this with the message. So layout height props layout height. And in the message screen, let's check the distance between the top and bottom. So const distance is equal to page y minus location y console.log distance. So it is minus 46 is smaller than 100. This distance from top is less distance from top. Const y is equal to page y minus location y right plus. Okay, we are going to use this is distance from top, then y will be message dot layout height, else it will be y only. So if we do this, then you can see we are properly animating this for the top value, but still we have the bottom. And for doing that, let's do this is console.log y 671. So const is less distance from bottom, and we will get the height. Const height use window dimensions. Height minus y is smaller than 100. And now we can get the exact location if it is less from the bottom. It is false now, but as we do it here, it should be true, but it is not true. What is the value for height minus y? 151. Okay, it should be not 100, it should be message not layout height plus 100. And if we do this now it should be true. Yeah, it is true. So I will make it let y if is less distance from bottom, y minus message layout height, if is less distance from top, y plus message height, and I will use the y here. So if we do this, I think it should work now. Yeah, it is working fine. But we don't want it like this only. Like when we are clicking on this, it is going there. I want to animate it to that value. So I will copy all this code and we will use it in the animated style in the portal view. So if I don't use this top and in the animated style, I will do translate y to message coordinates dot y. Then what will be the result? Yeah, it is same. And let's do it here. Const let y is equal to message coordinates. We will also copy this height from here. Use window dimensions, height. Const let should animate is equal to false. Should animate true. Should animate true. So should animate, then with timing we will go to y and duration will be 100, else we will go to directly y. It will be selected message.layout height. Let's try this. Okay, we are getting none. I don't know why we are getting this. Let me check. Console.log y none. If I make it 0, okay, so I think this will be fine. Let's reload this. Okay, yes, it is working fine. And let's check for this message. Yeah, this is also working fine. I will set the duration to 200. Yes, it is working fine now. But we also need to make sure we are translating the position of this. So let's do that. Animated dot value, and we will use this reaction style. Const reaction style. Use animated style. Return. We will use the same value, is transform, and we will also copy this data. It will be y minus 100. Minus 70 is good, and else again it will be minus 70. So now our animation looks perfect, as you can see. Okay, so it should be not translate text, it should be top only. The layout height, it is good. The styles are good, but yeah. Now this looks perfectly fine. If we are here, it will animate. If not, then it will be good. So that's all for this video. If you have learned something new and gained some fresh insights from this video, then please hit the like button. If you have any queries or questions, then you can ask in the comment section below and I will try to solve them or answer them as soon as possible. If you like this type of content and animations in mobile, then please hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon because I post a new video every week in this channel. And thank you so much for watching.